I want to move on, though, to some hearings that we had in Washington just yesterday, where Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was, he was visibly frustrated, but he was also really taken to task by Republicans at the Senate Armed Services Committee, who criticized him for everything from Defense Department-sponsored drag queen story hours happening on military bases. He denied that these were happening, but then, they showed all these posters for them, to his role in the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Now, I got to say, I think it's great that the Congress is taking up these lines of questioning here. But what is your just general sense about this kind of Pentagon military elite that is pushing us into all these sort of different directions, but at the same time really doesn't seem to have its house in order militarily or, with these drag queen story hours even?
James, that's exactly right. Now, the context here is that all of the branches of military service have badly missed their recruitment quotas. They're not signing up the soldiers and sailors and Marines that they need. And obviously, the reason is that the sorts of young men and women who would volunteer to serve in the armed forces aren't interested in going woke. We have the spectacle of leaders of our service branches saying that they think the number one threat to America's national security is global warming. Well, nobody enlists in the Army to fight global warming. No one enlists in the Army or the Navy to go to a drag queen story hour. And one of the things that Lloyd Austin did that was just outrageous early in his tenure, very beginning of his tenure, he required all members of the armed forces, including reserves, to undergo a certain number of hours of anti-extremism training. And what they're talking about here, of course, is right-wing extremism. That's what they mean. As if there was this terrible problem of extremism in the U.S. military, which there isn't. And in this hearing you mentioned, there was debate back and forth about whether they burned up 5 million hours of wasted time in these sessions, or as Austin said, no, it was only 4 million hours. These insane extremism meetings in the armed forces. But it's a big, big problem. We've got military leadership at a time when there are real issues in the world. China, Russia, on. And they're more focused on wokeism than they are on national defense.
And, every hour that they spent doing those extremism lessons, I'm sure Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin were just laughing. So, John Hinderaker, thanks so much for bringing that to us tonight and your insights. Really appreciate it. Now, guys, what's the definition of irony? I Googled it a little while ago, and apparently it means the expression of one's meaning by using language that normally signifies the opposite, typically for humorous or emphatic effect. So, I guess maybe a good definition of irony would also be Joe Biden taking a 75-car motorcade of armored SUVs to Canada to talk about global warming. Yep, that's right. Look at that. They just keep coming and coming. Whoosh, and there's another one coming again. Well, there's some more. Hey, why aren't those all Teslas, huh?